Carrying on with the Ace Lightning reviews, I'm going to do something a bit different now. I'm actually going to do 3 episodes this time in a row because I just feel like it just saves more time, and if I'm being honest, some of these episodes there isn't really a lot to talk about. It's usually the same thing over and over again, and I don't really want to repeat myself. So I'm going to be doing this from now on. I apologise for the noise in the background. It's really hot today. I've got my fan on. I don't want to overheat myself. So anyway, episode 3, the substitute. In the episode, Lord Fear's plan is to replace Mark's science teacher, Mr. Chesper, with Lady Illusion to try and get his piece of the amulet. I personally feel like this is one of the more... I feel like this is one of those episodes that reminds you that this is meant to be a children's show, because I feel like the writing isn't as... it's not as focused this time. Like, certain characters will say one thing and they'll completely say something else that's similar to what they said before, but it just isn't necessary because we already know what they're thinking. So it just, yeah, it's like they had to dumb it down a bit for the audience, which they really didn't need to. I feel like the animation for the video game characters, I don't know if it's just me, but they felt a bit more stiff in this episode. I don't know if that was due to budget reasons or they just simply... No, I'm just going to say budget reasons, because that would be the most probable answer. One of the standing out moments of this episode is the character of Mr. Chesper, since this whole show is kind of like a tribute to the whole superhero genre, and all the characters play stereotypes. Like, we have Mark as the average everyday stereotype, Chuck the comic relief, Samantha the girl next door. Mr. Chesper is meant to be the nasty teacher you might have seen in certain sitcoms during the 90s and I want to say early 2000s, but I feel like it lasted pretty much throughout the 2000s. I'm sure they still do that stereotype in today's shows, but yeah, he's a pretty entertaining character. The actor, I can't remember his name, but the actor clearly is having fun playing him, but also playing Lady Illusion disguised as him. It's always great when you see episodes where a shapeshifter takes the form of a recurring character, giving the actor a chance to show their range a lot more. But apart from that, there's really nothing else to say about this episode, because it's much like the pilot. It's kind of like a two-part because it doesn't get resolved until the next episode. It's one... Oh god, what was I going to say? I was going to say something, but it's completely blown my mind now. What I was about to say, but anyway, I want to keep these reviews shorter than usual now, because I don't want to blab on about stuff I've already talked about. So that was episode 3. Let's move on to episode 4. So carrying on from episode 3, episode 4 is a huge improvement. Well, not a huge improvement, but it's better than the last one. Starts off with a bus and ice cream truck chase at the start of the episode, ending with a fight in the cafeteria. The comedy is a lot more... well, I know the show isn't known for its comedy, but... well, it's not known for much anything, but I've got to say the comedy in this episode is a pretty standout point. We get introduced to another recurring character, the lunch lady, Mrs. Chimper. Oh, I can't say her name. I just know it's the dinner lady. But Yeah, she provides a few laughs in this episode. Chuck, obviously, he does. Another thing I want to point out is they release Mr. Chessburn this episode, and they kind of do a bit of a mind erase his memory type thing. It's when you think about it, it's a bit more messed up when they've mentally broken this guy. But yeah, I would recommend watching this episode immediately after episode 3 because it just works better tone wise and it's definitely more satisfying than the last episode. To episode 5, There's No Place Like Home, has a bit of a more serious, has a bit more of a serious vibe to it. Ace is powering down and he needs very much more energy. It kind of ups the stakes a lot more, as if they don't find a power source soon, he gets erased from existence, and of course Lord Fear takes full advantage of it. It's the Well, I did say it was a lot more serious. It doesn't go too serious, as there's one little element that kind of ruins the tone, and that is Mark's little cousin, who's an 8-year-old girl, and we all know what little kids are like in these type of shows. You probably find her annoying, but apart from that, it has to, yeah, it has pretty much shows how serious the whole situation is and what could potentially happen if they lose. So that was episode 3, 4, and 5, and tune in next time where we discuss 6, 7, and 8.